goes for the shot and it's in. The shot and it's in. Bruno and it's in.
Clever touch. Oh, what a goal! Ballas flicked it on. Oh, it's a really good goal. Found its way in. So it's got goal, Kalba.
Al-Mubi, and it's near. Junior Fleming!
Eventually comes in the box and Fabio Lehmann for Saleh. And the shot!
Ken Mohamed he scores! Header, it's in! Asios, and it's in! What a hit!
Hello everyone and welcome to Final Score, your guide to everything UAE football in the last week, and it's a bumper show this week as we're going to look at match week 20 of the ADNOC Pro League and also those massive President's Cup semi-finals that we saw over the weekend as well. Lots to go through, lots of drama, lots of intrigue, and we're still no closer to really finding out who's going to win the title and who might get relegated as well. Joining me in the studio, of course, as normal, we have the legend of UAE football, Ibrahim Diaki, and the walking encyclopedia of UAE football, Pedro Correa. Gentlemen, welcome, of course. Before we get into the league, let's just start off with the President's Cup, still fresh in our minds over the weekend. What a terrific weekend it was. 2 games in a row taking place. We started off with Shabab Ahli, the defending President's Cup champions, against Al Jazira. Al Jazira won that. They went through to the final. And then, of course, we had the David and Goliath story of Al Ain, one of the biggest clubs in the region, against First Division's United FC. Finished 2-0 to Al Ain, but only in extra time and after a superb battle from United FC. Ibrahim, looking back on these 2 games, we're going to go through to the final now, and I guess that's the main stat, isn't it? It's going to be Al Jazira against Al Ain, but it doesn't quite tell the full story of what happened in the semi-finals.
Yeah, Grandma, it couldn't be a better final for me, especially.
Yeah, for you, obviously, yeah.
Because I played in both teams. But you know, it's the President Cup. It's one of the prestigious cup in the country. So it's an honor for the players to play that competition. And of course, the team that qualified for the final, they deserve it. I saw the game that they did was really amazing, and it was not easy for Al Ain because United was a team that is very well organized. They had a good game, but unfortunately they had a couple of mistakes that cost them. And for Jazira, I think they had in front of them a strong Shabab Al Ahli, but they were ready for that game. The coach Postage, he did a great tactic there, and he could win the game.
Pedro, United FC obviously was the dream situation. We don't often get a David and Goliath story.
The fairy tale.
Fairy tale, absolutely. This late in the competition, it's usually about the top team, so it was lovely to have them there. But in the end, I guess that experience and that top-tier sheen of Al Ain and Al Jazira just shone through, and they'll play in the final.
I think 2 very good matches in terms of the intensity, 2 very tight matches. I think the 4 teams honored the competition in these two matches. Jazira goes through with merit. They are living clearly the best period in the season. That's bad news for Shabab Al Ahli. They're coming in next again for the league. As for Al Ain against United, a professional win for Al Ain. They did what they had to do to go through to the final, another final in their history. And United, I think they won the respect of the UAE football family with their performance yesterday against the most decorated club in this country.
And definitely, as I said last time, it would be very, very nice to see them next year in the ADNOC Pro League.
Yeah, really looking forward to them. Okay, Ibrahim's mentioned it, the ADNOC Pro League. Let's get to that then, shall we? And Al Ain, who are now into the President's Cup final, they are on for the treble still. It's looked a bit on shaky ground in the last few weeks, but they are still on to win all 3 major trophies, the ADIB Cup, the President's Cup, and the ADNOC Pro League. And it was match week 20 this week of the season, a pretty crucial one. We are getting down to the nitty-gritty. Let's look at some of the numbers and stats, Pedro's favourite bit. After match week 20, we are still well over 2.5 goals per game, 379 in fact, 140 games, 75 clean sheets. It's still, though, the same top scorer and the same top assist. Dusan Tadic on 9 assists and Laba on 19 goals so far this season. He is, what, 4, I think, ahead of Cribin at the moment in the race for the Golden Boot. So these are the results we're going to go through. Shabab Ahli 4-0 clinical away at Dibba. Al Jazira on a run. They are unstoppable at the moment. 3-1 at home against Corfacan. Alain laboured in the game that some call El Clasico, the Abu Dhabi El Clasico. They won 1-0 away at Al Wahda. Sharjah came from 2 goals down to get a point at Kalba. Ajman and Baniyas, they drew 1-1. So did Al Nasser and Al Batay. And Al Wasl got a 3-0 win at home against Al Dafra. These were big results, but as I said at the top of the show, Pedro, we're still not really any closer to finding out who's going to win the league and who's going to go down. As we can see from the table, still just 1 point between Alain and Shabab Ahli. Jazira trying to cement that 3rd spot, and they're going the right way about it at the moment. Al Wahda, Al Wasl, Al Nasser and Ajman rounding out the top. Down the bottom, it is changing a little bit at the bottom. Baniyas are on a good run. They've picked up a lot of points recently, and they now find themselves 9th. They had been bottom of the league for a long, long time. Dibba are bottom with Al Batay, but Al Batay just a point away from escaping the relegation places with Al Dafra. Okay, just before we get the thoughts of the gentlemen here in the studios, here's a bit more about match week 20. After match week 20 of the ADNOC Pro League season, questions over the race for the title and the race to survive in the top flight still have no definitive answers in sight. Al Jazira's resurgence continued with a 5th straight win. Their 3-1 win against Corfacan included Simon Banza's 4th goal in 3 games, and they stay firmly in 3rd place. At the top, though, the yo-yo between Shabab Ahli and Alain continued for another week. Shabab Ahli, the defending champions, went back into 1st place after their 4-0 win at Dibba. All the goals came in the second half, and Dibba are now 4 points from safety. But Shabab's lead again only lasted 24 hours as Alain regained top spot after a hard-fought 1-0 away win at one of their oldest rivals, Al Wahda. For the 2nd week in a row, Matthias Palacios scored a goal of the season contender, and the celebrations in front of their away fans at the end of the game showed how important this win felt to Alain. Sharjah are 8th, but still have only 1 win in their last 5. Usmani Kamara scored twice for Sharjah to see them come from 2 goals down against Kalba and take a point away from the game. Baniyas moved another step away from relegation. After 3 straight wins, they drew 1-1 away at Ajman. Niakate's first half goal for Baniyas was cancelled out with the very last kick of the game. Fleming's late equaliser keep Ajman right in the middle of the table. Al Wasl got 3 points at home after a 3-0 win against Al Dafra. 3 red cards were shown, and Al Dafra now sit just 1 point above the relegation places. And second from bottom, Al Batay have picked up 4 points in their last 2 games. Mohamed Juma put them ahead against Al Nasser, but Doumbia equalised for the Dubai side midway through the second half. Al Nasser haven't been beaten since January, and they stay in 6th. So lots to talk about then, and let's start with that win for Alain away at Al Wahda. It was our match of the week. We did it live, didn't we? And it was yet another stunning strike from Matthias Palacios, 2 in a row. This one arguably better than the one he scored the week before. But this is a really tight game. Alain knew, as they know all the way through this part of the season. They have to match or better whatever Shabab Ahli do. They won the night before, so this was a big night for them.
They were coming in under pressure. A curious fact is usually they say you should not come to the same place, the place where you were happy before again. And Alain was happy at the Al Nahyan Stadium twice this week. So that's a curiosity, just getting it back to the match. Yes, a tight win. We said it in the analytical studio that eventually Al Wahda would deserve something better, but in the end is also a fair win for Alain. More competent in the art of scoring in this case. They scored one goal, Al Wahda didn't. So they take the 3 points. And as you said, they were under pressure because of what had happened in the night before. And they are still under pressure, and they will, I believe, be under pressure until the end, because this is a very tight race between these two teams.
Think of the other side of the equation, Ibrahim. Al Wahda, one win in their last 5. They're still 4th, and they're still very much in the race to finish 3rd as well. But their consistency, where everybody around them is really picking up points, but their consistency has dropped off.
Yeah, definitely. The problem with Al Wahda right now is the consistency, as you said. But in that game, they had a great game. They created a lot of chances. They were very well organized from the beginning of the game. And but I felt like Alain, they knew how important this 3-point was for them, because they didn't want to let the chance go. Because if they don't win that game, Shabab Al Ahli is staying on the top. So I mean, with the strike of Palacios, what a goal. And Alain also started the game very well organized. They were very focused. And I think Coach Ivic, he motivated the players. You know, mentally you could see that they were doing more effort. Sometimes we saw even Laba was trying to drop to come back to defend also, because that game was tactical. He won that game with the tactical, the way of the play, they were moving, the coordination. It was really perfect. And of course, with the performance of Palacios, great goal.
Alain have a really good track record against Al Wahda. I think they've. Well, here we go. Here's a list of the most wins against Al Wahda in the top division. Alain, that makes it 16. I mean, it's familiar names. Everybody has these kind of stats, but it was an important time for Alain to meet Al Wahda. They've got big hurdles to cross if they are going to win this title. And this moment coming up against Al Wahda at this time probably was okay for them, because they do have such a good record.
Because mathematically it's only 3 points, but psychologically it's a bit more than that, obviously. Because regardless of the position in the table, it's always a tough match for both sides. It's also called El Clásico for some reason. So Alain here gets the 3 points, on the road, gets the 3 points after being under pressure because Shabab Al Ahli had won the night before. But mostly I think it's also a bit of a morale boost, because every time you go through a big obstacle, you become a little bit more confident eventually about the outcome. But there's still 6 battles coming in for Alain.
Still a long way to go for them. But thinking about Alain, Vladimir Ivic is our manager of the week this week, and that was before he came through the semi-final of the President's Cup last night. So it cemented his position as what a job he's doing there. And we talk about this quite often with him, don't we? That he's so calm usually on the sidelines that we don't really know what he's feeling. And I think that is moving throughout the squad as well. They do seem like a calm, coordinated squad.
Yes, Graham, you know, when you are coach of Alain, it's very difficult because you have a lot of pressure. He's one of the team who won most title in the country. So when you're taking over, you require a lot of effort. So, and he's doing very well. I think, as I said before, he is using more the mental, the team spirit. He talked to the players, motivate them to make sure they can go, because the quality is already there. If you take players like Laba, Kaku, Rahimi, Hussein, I can name so many. But it's important for a coach when you have this type of squad to put the right mental boost to make them do the good results.
I think it's also interesting the fact that they are unbeaten. Yeah. Because for the other teams playing against them, regardless of the objectives of their opponents, That will be also something that they will be looking for, I believe, trying to beat Ahli. But more than that, to mention that Ahli finished last season with 44 points in the 5th position. Right now, still with 6 matches to be played in the league, they have 50. They have already 6 more points than in the end of last season. So I'm mentioning this because regardless of what will happen in the end, and of course, and Ibrahim knows this better than anyone else in the studio, playing for Ahli and representing Ahli, you have to win. But even if they don't win the league, right now they have already done much better than they did last season. So that shows that the club is improving.
But it is a real tussle, though, isn't it, between Ahli and Shabab Al-Ahli. Ahli had to win that game against Al Wahda because the night before, Shabab Al-Ahli went to Dibba, who are bottom, and got a very professional 4-0 win away. It was fairly comfortable for Shabab Al-Ahli, let's be honest about it. And that does, every time Shabab Al-Ahli win a game, it puts the pressure on Al Ain and vice versa. But we can't take away from Dibba, who are now bottom, and they are 4 points from safety, Ibrahim. It is now starting to get near the end of the season, so it is getting worrying for them.
You know, we say for Al Wahda was lack of consistency. For Shabab Al-Ahli is the consistency, and on top of that, the efficiency. So the coach, Paulo Sousa, honestly, is doing a great job. You can see the way of the discipline into the team, what he put in the team there. They're very well organized. When they start the game, from the first minute till the end, they keep the rhythm. The dynamic is the same until the last minute, and of course, it's showing in the field. And every single player from Shabab Al-Ahli can score. And that's something that is very remarkable with the team. And I think Paulo Sousa, he did a really, really good job. And he really won that 2nd title in the row. So it will not be easy because Al Ain also is coming for the title. But it's nice for the ADNOC Pro League to see that battle back and forth. And let's see. But the team of Shabab Al-Ahli, they're really, really impressive. Every game that they play with a lot of fighting spirit, a lot of focus. And I think that's making the difference.
And we do have that mouth-watering prospect of Al Ain against Shabab Al-Ahli before the end of the season, which is like we talked about, it's like another cup final, basically. I do want to talk about Dibba, though. Are they now, you know, as the season goes along, if you're bottom, you've got plenty of time to get out of the trouble. But time is now not on their side.
No, time is not on their side right away because coming in the menu is a final against Afra. It's as it is right now, it's a final. In the sense that if Dibba loses, it starts to become a little bit complicated because Dibba is in the 14th position with 14 points. Afra is in the 12th position with 18, is the first team above the relegation line. So it's a must-win for Dibba for all the reasons. For the 3 points they will get, for the 3 points Afra will not get. It's a must-win. In this particular match with Shabab Al-Ahli, they managed to keep the clean sheet for the first half. Shabab Al-Ahli's control of the match and dominance was never in doubt. They completely controlled and dominated the match. 77% of the possession is just a number, but it's an impressive number. But then in the second half, as soon as Shabab Al-Ahli scored the first goal, it was felt like Dibba, because then Dibba wanted to try to get back on track. And of course, Shabab Al-Ahli right now much stronger and did the job. I think Dibba, in any case, is having a good season, having in mind that they were promoted and the way they are fighting to avoid the relegation. I think credit must be given to them.
Well, that is true. I mean, they are fighting this, by no means out of it at all. You know, one win and, you know, they're pretty much back in the fight to stay safe. OK, let's move on. Al Jazira then, who are absolutely flying at the moment. Best record in the league at the moment. 5 wins in a row. Their 5th win was at home, 3-1 against Corfacan. And, of course, they won their President's Cup semi-final as well at the weekend. So that's six big competitive wins in a row for Al Jazira. This was Rabi, Milson and Banza scoring again. Everything is starting to come together nicely for Al Jazira, isn't it, Ibrahim?
What a great performance they did there. Because as I always say, playing against Corfacan is not easy. It's a very well organized team. And as I know the coach very well, I trained with him when he was in Al Ain. He's the type of coach who is really ambitious and he knows exactly the league and he knows most of the teams. So he can put the right tactic to try to put in difficulty his opponent. But Jazira, what they did there is something that was really remarkable. For a long time, I didn't see the type of the team spirit.
Yeah.
The way, even if you can see on the third goal, when Rabi gave the ball for Banza with one touch, the coordination and the combinations were perfect. And you can see that we used to say that many times regarding the quick transition, but there is a big progress on that side. And I think he's working very well with them right now.
And to think after that, they then went off to knock out the defending President's Cup champions in the semi-final 2 days ago. What has happened at Al Jazeera? Is there one thing we can put our finger on, or is it just a combination of everything that is now coming together to fruition?
I think it's a match. It's Jazira historically over, I would say, last 10 years. I don't know exactly. The Dutch school always does well, or most of the time does well with Jazira, because the squad has those characteristics to play under that playing style. And now, over the last few weeks, the team is playing well, again, according to that playing style. And I was there for commentary, and the first half clearly showed that. Very fluid, very pleasant to watch, the way Jazira was playing. It's not only efficient, but also pleasant even to watch. The first half. Second half was a little bit different. Credit on Horfakan for that. The result is very fair for Jazira, but Horfakan fought hard for the match. And I think also the cherry on top is Simon Banza.
Yeah.
Because, of course, not taking away any merit from the likes of El Nani, Nabil Fekir, Milson, Bruno. But Simon Banza, I think, is really the cherry on top now, because it's the difference between you are playing well, but you don't score enough, and you are playing well, and you have that striker inside the box with that clinical finish. Sometimes, over the last few matches, it's just a tap. Yeah, but it must be there to tap it in. And before, nobody was there to tap it in. And now there is. They have a reference inside the box. So they have this Dutch-style carousel in the possession, and then they have a finisher to kill. Jazira is doing very well. They reached the President's Cup final. They are on their way to eventually get the third position, which is also good. And mostly, I think, for the next season, we'll have Jazira clearly back on the title race.
Yeah. And the entire team is performing very well. Let's not forget Ali Kusef.
Yeah.
He's in great form. And being the captain of the team, he's giving the example, pushing the team, pushing the players. And you can see, you take from the back till the front, everybody's giving that effort to make sure that Jazira can come back. Because this is the Jazira we knew.
Yeah.
The ball possession is great. The organization is way, way much better. You can see the quick transition. When they lose the ball, they try to recover directly. And the two players that who are very important in the midfield, Koulibaly and El Nini, they're giving that stability for Jazira. Not only when they have a ball possession, they can take the ball out. Also, they can reach in front to try to arrive in the box to try to make the difference. But Bruno, Fekir, Banza, Milson, what a team. Right now, they're in great form.
Okay. So Al Jazeera up to third. Al Wasl would like to finish third, and they got their first win in 4, 3-0 win at home against Al Dafra. Al Wasl are fifth. They needed these points, and that just, that takes them 4 points off third spot now, Pedro. So Al Wasl, a bit like Al Wahda, had a bit of a wobble in the league, but maybe this win gets them back on track.
Was one of their best matches, lately at least, was one of their best matches. A word for Dafra again, they play positive football. And that also somehow made it easier for Al Wasl, because due to the fact that Dafra tries to play, on the other hand, they open up, and it makes it slightly easier for the other team. Also to say that this match had 3 red cards, but it was not a battle. It was for different reasons, double yellow, last man. It was not a battle, as it might seem, but it happens. But yes, a very professional win for Al Wasl, scoring 3 goals. It's also something that they have been struggling with, and also keeping a clean sheet. They did these 2 things that they need to do more often.
Also for Al Wasl, they're obviously playing in Champions League 2 at the moment. They're still waiting to play this magical tie against Al Nassr and Cristiano Ronaldo whenever they can fit it in. But finishing third for them, it's the same for all three of those teams, I say. Jazira, Wahda and Al Wasl, they all have designs on third place.
Yeah, definitely. Of course, they cannot win the league right now anymore, I don't think so. But I think Al Wasl is looking for that stability. Lately, their performance was a bit not like what we know about Al Wasl, but I think with the squad that they have and all this, and the new coach coming in also, it's not easy. I always say that. It's difficult to know the player better, to to bring new tactics. I think this is the problem of Al Wasl. The moment in that game that I saw last time, they changed completely the rhythm and the dynamic. We saw more fast attacks, and they were efficient also. They scored 3 goals, and they took the victory, which is good for them. In the future, I think future coming games, they will do much better also.
I think the key word is efficiency. What Ibrahim said, efficiency up front and in the back.
And if you talk about efficiency, Sharjah, well, they're not efficient at the moment. They're very much a roller coaster. You never quite know what you're going to get with the Sharjah game. They came from 2 goals down to Kalba to come back and get a point out of it. But again, this is Sharjah's inconsistency is remarkable at the moment. They're on 21 points. They're 8th in the league, but that is only 4 points above the relegation zone. So they're by no means safe or anything like that. But you know, they fought back from 2 goals down. They did get a point. That's the positive for them.
Nowadays, the ADNOC Pro League is so competitive that sometimes we overlook matches like this because this is a Sharjah derby, Sharjah Emirate derby.
Yeah.
And over the last few seasons, is becoming more and more competitive, regardless of the position of the teams in the table, regardless of their latest performances. This is a fixture, Kalba and Sharjah and Kalba, that is becoming more and more competitive over the years. And this is a match, as you said, Kalba took the lead, 2-0, and then Sharjah fought their way back into the match. I think both teams will be halfway happy, halfway frustrated with this outcome. Sharjah is not in a comfortable situation, but even Kalba is also not completely done. It's very competitive, and they will need to still fight for more points.
And they're having almost identical seasons as well, Sharjah and Kalba. They're level on points, and they're next to each other in the table as well. So perhaps this result was always going to happen.
I think they're lacking of confidence because the quality is there. They have a great squad. Of course, Coach Moraes, we also what he's able to do when he was actually in Al Wahda. He's a great coach, a very smart one. But you know, Sharjah is going through some you know, turbulences, as I said. But they will come through because the quality that they have. Only the small issue that they need to fix, I think, is the mental of the team spirit. They need to play as a together, to fight together. I think they will start to make the difference. And what I saw in that game against Kalba, Kalba started very well. They scored 2 goals in the first half. But we saw a different reaction from Sharjah. That's the Sharjah we need, the reaction, and to fight more, to fight for all the balls. And I think they can make the difference. But 2-2, I think, is fair.
Talk of fighting, Al Nassr and Al Battay. Al Battay are fighting to stay in the top division. They got a much-needed point, and this comes after a win the week before. So 4 points in their last 2 games for a relegation-threatened team is very positive for them. Al Nassr proving extremely hard to beat. They're not getting the wins that they would want, but they're drawing a lot of games. 4 draws in their last 5.
Yeah, another match in a grey area for both sides. Al Nassr clearly dominated the match, but Battaya got ahead. And in the end, sharing the points is not good for any of these teams. It's okay for Battaya, they get 1 more point on the road against a team like Al Nassr. Battaya is in trouble, it's below the relegation line. Next, they will go up against Kalba. So all these latest matches are becoming like finals for these teams in the bottom. As for Al Nassr, the curious case of Al Nassr in the league, I think it's the only team right now that can start thinking about the next season. With because in the 6th position with 27 points, Eventually, they can go one place up, eventually two. They can drop 1 or 2 places down, but I don't see that they are in trouble in any way. 25 goals scored, 25 goals conceded, so they are flat and safe in the 6th position. As for Bataya, they need points, and now in the upcoming round, as I said, it's a final with Kalba, also because Dibba and Dafra will be clashing. So it's a very important round for the relegation zone.
And also for those teams at the bottom, they will take a bit of heart from how Baniyas, who were bottom for so long this season, they seem to have turned their season around in spectacular fashion. 3 wins in a row, followed by this week they got a draw against Ajman. They came so close to getting another win. It was a last-minute equaliser, wasn't it, from whoever it was that scored. I can't remember that. Yeah, exactly. And it was pretty heartbreaking for them as well, because Baniyas went right to the end. I think it was 94th, 95th minute when the Ajman goal came in. But this record from Baniyas at the moment, Ibrahim, what Daniel Isela has done there with the squad and the team spirit, it's quite extraordinary.
Yeah, you can see that from the statistic, Ajman was controlling the game. They started very well, very strong. It was not an easy opponent for Baniyas, especially we see that Baniyas was doing great performances lately, and going against Ajman needed that win, for example, but they couldn't because especially coming out from the loss the week before. So it was important for them to try to win this game, but they had a Baniyas that was, I would say, very well organized, and then they don't want to break that because they've been winning lately, so they didn't want to break that. And they went to Ajman, they did a great result. I think 1-1 is fair.
Ajman, quite similar to Al Nassr, I think. They can start to look ahead to next season and planning and getting things in, a couple of points behind Al Nassr, but a similar vibe, I would say.
This is the type of match that also is happening a lot lately. A win for any of these sides would make it a lot more comfortable for them. Yes, for Ajman, if they have won this match, they would be very, very comfortable. For Baniyas, not as much, but still Baniyas, over the last 4 rounds, 10 points out of 12. Yeah. It's a great improvement from what we had before. More like the Baniyas we all know. Ajman needs to keep fighting to get a couple of more points. They are going up against Alain, so it's going to be complicated for them. Baniyas is going up against Horfakan, another match that can eventually decide something there in the middle of the table.
As I say, it's the second round. Same like Bataya, same situation for Baniyas also. Even if you cannot win, at least don't lose. 1 point is still a point. It can help you to stay to come up.
Yeah, it's terrific fight back from Baniyas, who, as I say, had been bottom for most of the season, but now they are 10th. Okay, let's take a look at our lineup of the week then. The best 11 that we think have played during the week. Banza is now appearing as our main striker, who really has found his footing. Gentlemen, cast your eyes over this one. Who do we think is standing out for you this week? Matthias Palacios, of course, is there with his extraordinary goal.
Yeah, with the winner in the match of the week. To mention Sultan Almantari, the goalkeeper, Kalba's goalkeeper. He has had his ups and downs in his career, but he's a fairly good goalkeeper, I believe.
If we were including the President's Cup in this, I think Ali Kasif would be.
Definitely, definitely. And 2 players that for me can always be in the team of the week: Koulibaly for Jazira and Traoré for Alain, because of the amount of work they do in the midfield. Regardless of any other number, I would like to know their GPS tracking record, because I think they both run miles for their teams every week.
Also worth pointing out, Kamara scored both the goals for Sharjah to get that point for Sharjah. And Jimenez as well, who's been fairly quiet this season. He's such a talented player. I'm pleased to see him up there, Ibrahim.
Yeah, definitely. He did a great game. He was very helpful for Al Wasl last game. But I would like to add, for me, Khaled Aissa against Al Wahda. He did a great game. He did some great saves. And, of course, I would like to talk about the coach, Ivic. what the tactic is putting lately. You can see a change, completely a shift in the way of Ahli is playing, and it's really amazing. They're doing great result, and they're really lucky to have a coach like him, because you can see the ambience, the atmosphere of the player is really good, and I think that's working very well with them.
So let's look ahead then to the next match week. We've got an international break coming up now, of course, so the clubs get a little time to sort of reorganise. So we are back on Friday, the 3rd of April. Kalba away at Al Batteh. All these games really crucial now. Al Nassr at home to Al Wahda. If Al Wahda do want to finish third this season, they're going to have to pick up some points. Ajman away at Al Ain, the tussle for the top. And Shabab Ahli against Al Jazira, a rematch of the President's Cup semi-final. It's also going to be our match of the week. We'll have live coverage of Shabab Ahli against Al Jazira for you on Saturday, the 4th of April. Then on Sunday, the 5th, Al Dafra away at Dibba. As Pedro said, that's a cup final basically for both of those teams. Baniyas, can they keep this run going away at Corfacan? And Sharjah, who knows what they're going to produce at home against Al Wasl. That will be a really good game though as well. So that's what we got to look forward to. But that is it for this final score. Ibrahim, thank you as always. Pedro, thank you as always. Enjoy the international break. Then we'll be back, and it is all guns blazing to get to the end of the season now. We still don't know who's going to win. We still don't know who's going to go down. That is the magic of the ADNOC Pro League. Good night.